remember the other day I was complaining about having problems with part audio signals bleeding into each other in Logic Pro. Well, I think I've solved it. So as a sound engineer said correctly, you can do it. It's no problem. The only thing is, what I've discovered in Logic Pro is that you have to kind of search for the correct input corresponding to the part. Now that might mean that the numbers don't correspond. For example, part 1 may not correspond to 1 and 2 or 3 and 4. It might correspond to something else. I'll show you what I mean. So here's instrument 1 in Logic Pro. Go to external. It says Jupiter X MIDI channel 1, which is part 1 on the JXM, input 3/4, and I solo it and it works. I'll just demonstrate. See, no other channels bleeding through. Equally, part 2 in Logic Pro, channel 2, Dark Synth Juno in the JX. Now I've got it on channel 2, but then I've pushed it to 5 and 6 input, and if you listen, no problem. And it goes on. I'll just demonstrate with the bass. SH101, which is part 4 in the Juno XM, I've put it into input 9 and 10. Listen in solo. And I've got it pumping through a compressor as well at the moment. Wonderful, huh? So this is what it sounds like. And I'll just go to part 1 because I have a sound there that I'm going to start manipulating a bit. Obviously I'll muck about with the ADSR on that. Yeah, so sorted. I just played around a bit. I discovered what part 1 and channel 1 in Logic Pro corresponded to as an input, which would allow me to have separate, audio signals. And I just mucked about for a while and sussed it. So what I'm going to do from here on is basically just save this track. This is a new track I've got on the go, by the way, guys, as a template, and I'll just use it for every track I make because all the parts are corresponding to the correct inputs, etc., etc. Plus it'll make it a lot easier to bounce, to record and everything. So yeah, happy days. I have experienced a slight problem when, looping stuff and then playing around with filters and stuff. It kind of crashes. The keyboard crashes. I don't know whether that's what that has to do with. Maybe it's a MIDI buffer issue. I'll work it out. So there you go. I'll just write this patch in here. Oops, God, I really have to get used to doing all this. Here we go. Right, over and out.